Hey folks, how you doing? Papa Joe here. I'm in Chicopee, Oklahoma. On my 10-hour break. Done ate my dinner. Leftovers from Christmas dinner. Turkey, mashed taters, dressing, green bean casserole type stuff. Done got caught up on my paperwork. I ain't done it all week. It was getting behind. And I knew if I started making videos or doing any of this stuff, I'd blow that off. So that's all done and out of the way. Won't be long. I'll be done and back there out of the way. Let's see. I left you last night, Mount Vernon, Missouri. I was sitting in the garage. They swapped out my 2 fuel filters. The old boy that was doing it, he was trying to convince me that our guys just had not done it right. You know, because I told him I just had them changed 3,000 miles ago. And he was telling me about the sediment in the back of this one filter is usually the problem, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know, I think 15-degree weather, and if I got water in my fuel, that don't sound like a good scenario. Now, I am one of them that hang out in the shop. I don't care if I'm a company driver or not. I've been out here so long. I've seen the trucking companies get so abused that I don't trust nobody out here on that stuff anymore. You go telling me that our guys are doing it wrong, I want to know. Because I'll tell them and whoever needs to know so that it ain't messed up again. So if you go finding a bunch of trash in the bottom like you're talking about, I want to see it. I don't want to be told about it, I want to see it. Lo and behold, there wasn't none. Like that filter looks to me like it's full of water. Well, it's pretty heavy. Usually when they're heavy like that, it's sediment. Really? Then where's it at in the bottom of the boat? So, that's kind of nonsense you got to watch for out here. It ain't like he could have charged us anything extra for wiping sediment out. But there ain't no need in throwing rocks at our boys. I'm sure he's used to dealing with the big mega companies where them drivers will trash their people quick, fast, and in a hurry. We're not a mega company. We almost got 50 trucks. Last I heard, the owner's wanting to have 50 by the end of the year. I ain't heard if he achieved it or not. He was only missing by a few. But we're all on a name-to-name basis, real personal at our company, the mechanics and the drivers. And I'm old school. I like to know who's working on my stuff. I like them to know my truck. So, you know. And what the guy was saying, okay, I could have bought into it, that they had missed this thing. I mean, nobody's perfect, but I want to see it. Then I'll let our boys know, hey, this is what happened. And that ain't what happened. So, I got back out there under my trailer. It took damn near 3 hours to do all that nonsense. By the time they got back from a road call, they was on a road call. I had Just over an hour left on my 14. Didn't have much more than that on my 11. So there was absolutely no need for me to leave a good parking spot in the middle of the night in the cold. So I just camped out right there where I was at. Now we'll throw kudos to that TA, Mount Vernon, Missouri. It's on I-40, I forget what exit. What is it, 44 or something, 48, I don't know. It's also called West Springfield TA. That's what we always knew it by. But they still pump fuel for you. It was damn cold last night, and they had 2 fuel attendants out there. The only thing that baffled me, because I talked to the hands, and that's what they was out there for, was to pump fuel. How many of the big companies wasn't letting them pump their fuel? I'm like, really? I guarantee you, I have pumped so damn much fuel. I told them, I said, I wish I could fuel at a TA. I don't need fuel at the moment, but I'd pull around here just let somebody else pump my damn fuel. That would blow me away. Let's see. So anyway, that amused me for a little while. I didn't sleep worth a damn. And I was up real late. Didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night because I was up real late. I wound up taking a little over a 12-hour break. I knew I would wake up when it started getting daylight, so I didn't close my curtains. And sure enough, when it started breaking daylight, I woke up, took care of my morning necessities real quick, did a quick walk around. I was hauling butt. Now they had told the shipper in St. Louis that I'd be there at 10 o'clock. So I gave him a call a little after 8. And I told him I'd be there at noon. He allowed, they had told him 10 o'clock. And I said, well, that 10 o'clock was good. I said, until my truck started gelling up last night, freezing up. I said, and it became a situation. I said, once that situation was under control, I said, our fine government has us on computerized logs. I said, I wasn't going nowhere. I said, it just cost me a couple hours. I said, so the best I can do is noon. Well, all right, if that's how it's got to be. Yeah, you know. I mean, I was polite. I wasn't sarcastic to him or nothing. But I didn't pull no punches. And these shippers and receivers and brokers and stuff, they got to understand. They put handcuffs on us with that damn computer log. And that's what they was wanting to do. Well, they did it. So, don't hold me accountable for the computer log. So anyway, I got in there. Oh, man. It was, now I knew I was going to a university, to a college. I knew that. But when me and the old boy talked this morning, he told me, he asked me, he says, what size truck you got? I said, I got a full-size road truck. 53-foot trailer and a big truck. Sleeper, the whole bit. He said, well, you're not going to be able to get in our docks. He says, so just pull up in front of our building, in front of our docks, and park in the street. We're going to have to load you from the street. Oh, boy. And truck driver can tell you, that ain't the best thing to hear in a dry box. because usually that means a couple hours. So I started getting in there. I started realizing where I was at. I used to do quite a bit of St. Louis. Hadn't been in that exact area, but I knew the area. And I gave my dispatch a quick call. And I said, would you bring up a satellite of this area? This is what my GPS is telling me to do. I said, and this is all but putting me in downtown St. Louis. I want a bird's eye view before I go in here and mess up. I said, you remember San Francisco? Out there on the bay? I don't want another repeat of that. I got all jacked up out there. That was not good. And we did the same thing. I called him. He looked at it on the satellite view, and we're talking on the phone, and I'm telling him what I'm seeing. He's telling me what he's seeing, and we got me out of there. But it was still hairy. So I'm telling him what my GPS is telling me to do, which doesn't make a lot of sense sitting here reading it. So he's looking it up, and it's taking him a few minutes, and I'm almost on top of him. And I told him, man, I should have called you an hour or two ago. I'm sorry. He's like, nah, I got it. Give me a second. He says, I'm trying to figure out. Oh, okay. He said, yeah, that's the good route. He says, anything else, it would be another San Francisco. You would really be twisting and turning and wondering if you're going to take out signs and poles. All right, cool. Well, where I ended up being was by the Children's Hospital. It was the Jewish Children's Hospital, and right beside it is the university medical part of it, you know, and there are dorms and all this stuff, their housing, whatever you want to call it, which is just another big downtown St. Louis building. And they have one of them itty-bitty 2 docks inside the building off this little 2-lane road, and with a dumpster inside, of course, taking up one of the docks. And he's like, we got one truck in here before. He says, but boy, did I get in trouble. Because by the time he was back in, his steer tires was all but on the sidewalk over there, and the driver was all up in their bushes and stuff trying to back in here, and he had the street all blocked. He says, so now policy is we load you in the street. I said, well, that's all fine and well. I said, but I'm looking up yonder. I ain't going to be able to make that only turn that's allowable. I said, y'all going to help me back out of here? He says, yes, sir. Do it every time. We don't get a lot of y'all, but yep, there'll be 2 of us going back there. We'll make sure no one pulls out, and then we'll block that street. Less than an hour. They put on 13 pallets. Speaking of which, you get this back over here. I took it off my clipboard when I was doing paperwork. I keep stuff on a clipboard. It was like 50 minutes from the time I got there to the time I left. That's pretty good. I couldn't complain with that at all. I was rolling by 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock is a damn good time to be getting out of St. Louis. So I argued with the GPS a little bit about what route I wanted to take versus what route it wanted me to take. In the long run, the loose nut behind the steering wheel one. I've got 285 miles to my delivery. I got 112 miles to the house. So I got just barely under 400 miles, 396 miles to home. So I'll fuel down here at, I don't know, 150, 175 miles. Let me bring that in. Right there, right there. It'll tell me here in a second.
Proceed to the highlighted route.
124 miles. Oh, that's right. I wound up coming down here. I was going to stop back yonder. And I'm not in Chillicothe. I'm in Eufaula. My bad. I was going to stop. Actually, it's that way. And I was talking to Mom on the phone, drove right by it. So I came down here where there's normally not any parking. Front row parking. Thank you, Lord. Oh, got here and got parked up and warmed me up some dinner. Oh, I'll tell you something else I did today. Now, there's a lot of you that will not know what it is. And there's some of you that might. There's a lunch meat that's real hard to find. It's called head cheese. Now, far enough in the South, they have one almost like it. They're kissing cousins, and it's called souse. I don't like souse, but I like head cheese. And there's only 2 or 3 places anymore where I can find it, and they happen to be in Missouri. Tell you what us hillbillies eat, because I'm born and raised Missouri hillbilly. They have a regular and they have a hot. I'm not real crazy about the regular. I'll take it if there's none. I prefer the hot. And with me running late this morning, I drove right by the place where I could get it at and didn't take the time to stop. When I got loaded, I'd planned on going down 55 to 67, run that into Little Rock, and cutting through that way. I got thinking about it and arguing with the GPS. I just ran 44 over to Big Cabin and got off at Big Cabin and run 69 down, and I'll run the turnpike over and do my own little zigzagging way that I know. But got me some head cheese. Probably 45 minutes after I got loaded. So I took enough time to stop in there and get the head cheese. It's one of them things, you either hate it or you love it. A lot of people pass judgment on it because of the name. A lot of people that don't like it, that have actually tried it, is there's a gel in it. Just like you make jelly out of. The same stuff is used. And it's just a little more exposed than it would be in your jelly. But that's what makes jelly set up and make jelly. I grew up eating it. My grandma used to make it. I know a lot of people used to make it. But I got that, and I made me a couple sandwiches right off the bat. One thing about it, and it's always the same brand out of that place, you can get that hot head cheese one time and it's okay, that's cool. Next time you get it, it's like, damn. Normally when I would get it, I'd put me a couple pieces of head cheese on there. Normally they slice it a little thin. But this time I told them again to slice it thick. But I'd put a couple, 2 to 3 pieces of their thin slice on there. And I'd put some pepper jack cheese on there with it. And that made it pretty good. This time, it didn't need no pepper jack. It'd fire you up. So I made me a couple sandwiches. And I got a whole loaf of it, which is 3.5 pounds. Had them divided basically in half, which they didn't even get close to half, so I kept a small pack out. So even after I'd ate them 2 little half sandwiches, I'm reaching over here, grabbing me a piece, and munching on it going down the road, and I tore up some Mountain Dew today. So, good stuff. I don't get it near enough, but when I do get it, when I get by there, I get enough to give me a good healthy dose where I won't want it for a little while, or won't miss it for a little while. So, just a Papa Joe thing. So, got one of my favorite lunch meats. With that, I'm fixing to call Mama, let her flirt with me a little bit, and tell me how sexy I am, and then I'm going to go back there and dream about her. With that being said, y'all remember, God loves you, so do I. If you ever get a chance to try head cheese, give it a fair, honest trying. It's pretty good stuff. Y'all have a blessed weekend now. Bye.